The Morning Shot with Lundi Khoisan on Mix 93.8.
All right, so I'm extremely excited. Lynn, can you not hear me at all?
I cannot hear you through the phones.
You cannot grab Eva Chipa's cans
Grab
over
Eva's
there.
phones. May I grab Eva's phones?
Grab
Those
her
white
cans.
ones.
Grab the white ones.
Grab the white ones.
So Wednesdays we chat about cool things and wave makers in our city. And I'm super honored to have Lynn Joffe in studio with us while she's sorting out the cans. She's an author, a storyteller, a musician, and a fashion icon, in my opinion. Eva's just sorting out her headphones there. Lynn, can you still not hear me over there?
Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2.
We can hear you.
I can't hear you through the cans.
You cannot hear me.
I'm there I am. Hello.
You can you hear yourself
I
now?
can hear you.
Amazing.
How's it?
Lekker, Lynn. Well, I've did a whole spiel with your introduction now. You've missed it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, don't swear. Okay, all right. Sorry, no swear words.
Now, Lynn, I met you through the corporate world back when I was about 23
12.
years old. Oh, no, I was 12. No, I wasn't. But it's so lovely having you here. You've just released your brand new novel, your debut novel. It's fantastic having you here. And I know your novel, The Gospel, according to Wanda B. Lazarus, asks the question, what if the wandering Jew was a woman?
Yep.
But now give us a brief history of this legendary tale and why you've decided to take a feminist approach in your book.
Oh, I think the feminist approach chose me firstly, and it was interesting because I wanted to create a very funny take on, if you want. Full disclosure, I'm a Jewish person. I wasn't raised in the faith or really even in the culture. I was raised in Scotland and England and Australia and came here and they said to me, you're Jewish, you're white, you're a woman. It was like, oh my goodness, triple whammy. So there have always been strains of that. And because of the myth of the wandering Jew is an anti-Semitic glyph that comes out of the Middle Ages that was rear and post-engineered to basically blame one tribe of people for the ills of the world. They were the scapegoat. And it always fascinated me why. I've been in places where people haven't even, thought we had horns. There are a whole lot of very interesting prejudices against this particular race of whom I am one. So cultural expropriation of oneself is perfectly allowable. I think I told you when we were preparing for this that I went back to varsity to Wits. I did a Master of Arts through the School of Literature and Language and Media, and developed the idea, because at varsity you've got to put the proposal forward. So my hypothesis was always exploring the idea of the wandering Jew who was a smelly, hunchbacked outcast who was immortal, he cast no shadow, and he wandered around the Middle Ages, poisoning the wells, eating babies, killing Jesus. So we were with and I didn't identify with my people. It's a very hideous image. So I wanted to take on that. I also do a lot of Jungian psychology and so sort of mixed mythology with history with fiction. That was the aim. It was a lower aim in the beginning because I was going to do memoir. I was going to write about myself as a little Jewish girl in the 70s in apartheid South Africa, where the anti-Semitic threads were barely visible, but because I was other, I was from outside, I could see differently to my people. And I've never considered myself one of my people. I'm one of our people, the weird, the tribe of weird.
Talking about that, you need to see Lynn. She's live on my Facebook page
come
now.
Look at
Lundi
me,
Khoisan.
Face for radio.
No, I
Khoisan
love
and
you.
Joffe, accountants of note. So basically, I wanted to explore the myth from a female point of view, and because I am a female in the world, the patriarchy has captured us all, guys. Spoiler alert. And the fact that we are women, I've never seen myself as being discriminated against actually. But if I think about every band I've ever been in, ever, and very often I'm really the only woman, and really the only white woman, which shouldn't have mattered, but it did, and maybe the only Jewish woman. So one is, and I mean, you're other as well. You're other as well. We always feel that we belong, but actually nobody really belongs. So I took her view of history.
I wanted to say that's exactly what I love about the book. So I started reading the book yesterday, and this Wanda character, I just fell in love with her because she challenges the patriarchy. There's that one piece where she says that the high priest actually banned the women from singing because they distract the men from their prayers. And that's how I feel every day. Like we need to almost fight the patriarchal system, and then there's Wanda.
Exactly. And in fact, those exact words, so funny to hear my words in your mouth. And it does distract the men from their prayers. And so therefore we must make ourselves small because they are distracted. he is distracted. But there's another part of that, which is that we all have a masculine within. So we all have it's actually against the whole feminist thing is almost against the feminine. And gentlemen, you've got the feminine inside. And if you don't embrace, and so of course my character, who stands up for herself in the real world, so may I quickly say, there are 11 episodes throughout history. Wanda is accidentally cursed with immortality. You have to read the book to find out how. And because and I also wanted to explore what it was like if you never died.
Yeah.
What would the human experience be like if you were immortal? So she aspires to be that. She is that accidentally. And so in each episode throughout history, so there are 11 episodes from the time of the temple to the present day. I wrote about 38 chapters for this and then had to kind of even them out. And the interstitial pieces, which is where the magic realism fits in, which is when Wanda returns to this magical space or this other world space called the pleroma, that she encounters these muses. So I've kind of also smashed up Greek and Jewish history and mythology to see what happens.
But it's fun. It's an exciting read, and we'll get to that later.
Okay.
We will be giving away a copy in a while. Now, you've produced a jazz series for TV. You've written multiple radio dramas and concepts, and I can sense that in your descriptive writing. For instance, where you write about the character Lassie blowing a shofar, pursing his clefted lips to the blowhole and wheezing a few breathy pops into the chaffed afternoon air. So why would you say, or how would you say, your career in creative writing contributed to your book?
Wow, that's a brilliant question. Okay, so my mother told me that when I was 6 months old, she knew I would write this book.
Oh, wow.
I came out the womb singing Summertime. So I've always had this, I was very stimulated in my very extreme youth. And I think there's a lot of talent in the veins and talent in the genes. My great-grandfather translated Shakespeare into Yiddish and performed it in Benoni at the beginning of last century. My grandmother on my other side used to put out a hat in Musenberg and bath in her gutkas and play the piano. and sometimes it skips a generation, so my grandparents were extremely barat.
Yeah.
And then my mother kind of broke out and then sort of disappeared from my life. And so in a sense, I've always been a storyteller, even the answer that I'm giving you now.
Yeah.
It's not a straightforward answer. It's like, I've always cultivated my creativity, and then copywriting. Guys, copywriting is one of the most fantastic training grounds on planet Earth. You are bullied, you are buggered, you have the work thrown back. I used to write like the side of tea packets.
Yeah.
I've once wrote the side of a tea packet 30 times for my creative director. And so in a way, somebody said to me, it's almost every sentence is a work of art, is the copywriting training and then the production training and then the TV and radio, which is my real medium,
Yes.
the heard word. Every sentence had to be heard. Almost it's a rhythmic way that I write, so it's my musical talent, if you want to call it that, which is 1%, and then the training and the copywriting on my own brief. I think the difference is that
It's your
I'm
own
giving
brief.
myself the brief, and the brief is character and plot, character and plot, character and plot. Take the story forward. So I spent a year create the voice of Wanda, who is the voice of Wanda. I began, as I said to you, with memoir, and then this character, they were saying the character took over. That would be so easy. Like just this character popped up. In fact, the front of the book, if you look at the glyph of the book, this is who I imagine Wanda would have been, is. And this is it's a mosaic from the Gaziantep Museum of Mosaics in Turkey.
Yeah.
And it was uncovered while I was doing my master's.
Yeah.
And when I looked at her, she has no mouth. I almost called her a Middle Eastern Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
And
I can see that.
And we were so glad to get the rights to use her on the book, because
fantastic.
in fact, I was going to call it the Gypsy Girl Mosaic at a point. And they said, no, it needs to have kind of more resonance. Some people have put it in the religion section. Guys, if you find it in the religion section, move it to fiction. It's fiction. It's fiction.
Well, we're running out of time, Lynn, but I just wanted to know, how on earth did Mr. Stephen Fry, the famous actor, comedian and writer, end up reading your book?
The only way I'm going to tell you is if you read the whole quote live on air.
You have to read it because you've got the book there.
I'm not allowed to. Okay, so Mr. Stephen Fry, I approached him.
Yes.
He responded. I was thinking about this because I knew you were going to ask this question.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think
that's me.
Is that
That's
you?
me. No, because I'm such a... Okay, quickly. I believe that luck is opportunity meeting preparation. I've prepared for this book for 6 years. I've queried all over the world. I've written to people. People have ignored me completely. I had an ability to contact him. I spent 6 hours writing an email.
Sure.
I gave him all the material that he needed to know to make an evaluation and prayed.
Amazing.
And within 12 hours, this man came back to me, and he's the mensch of mensches. He has given Wanda wings.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, why can't you read it? Pass it to me here.
No, it's embarrassing for
I want
me
to
to
read what
read
Stephen
it in
Fry-
his voice.
Stephen Fry.
No, very, very, very British style.
So
British
Stephen Fry wrote, "The gospel according to Wanda B. Lazarus is just what the world needs now. Draw a line through the Odyssey, the
Decameron.
the Canterbury Tales, Don Quixote, Gargantua.
Gargantua.
Thank you. The Flying Dutchman and the Confederacy of Dunches. Sprinkle over all with good kosher salt, and you only scratch the surface of this big, bountiful novel. A fizzing, fulsome, and fiercely funny heroine, and a novel charged with music, energy, bounce, juice, and joy. Stephen Fry." What an amazing review. Lynn, it was fantastic having you in
blessed
studio.
and
Where
grateful.
can we get
Thank
your
you.
book?
Any good bookshop in South Africa, exclusive books in particular. It's on the recommended shelf this month,
Fantastic.
so check it out. And if you want to contact me for books overseas, we're waiting for a New York agent to burst it internationally, so it's still at the moment only available in this country.
Fantastic.
which I'm very
Lynn,
blessed for.
amazing
Thank
having you
Thank
in
for having me
studio.
here.
It's a
You
big
guys
pleasure.
rock.
You rock. If you would love to win a signed copy of Lynn Joffe's debut novel, The Gospel According to Wanda B. Lazarus, just WhatsApp the word Wanda and your name and physical address to 084 822 0938. Lynn, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Your dose of the morning shot with Lundi Khoisan on Mix 93.8.